morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jono. You're watching another episode of Alrock Adventures. Today we're out here, we're going to do some tips and tricks on riding in soft sand. A lot of people dread riding in the soft stuff, but with a few of these tips, hopefully that'll help you out and you'll actually come to enjoy it. It's actually one of my favourite surfaces to ride on, but starting out can be pretty daunting, pretty scary to ride on because your bike's all over the place, you don't know what's going on. But stay tuned and watch a few of these tips and hopefully that'll help you out. So I do have to let you know before doing this, I'm not a professional coach or anything like that. I've done a little bit of amateur, local level motocross as a junior and just generally passionate about riding motorbikes. So yeah, take away whatever tips you like from this, whether some might be good tips that work for you, some might not. But this is what I find works for me. I enjoy riding in sand. All right, so what we're going to do today, we're going to give you 5 tips on how to better ride in the sand. Hopefully that'll make you more confident and less likely to dread the soft stuff. For the first tip, body positioning. What you want to be, make sure your body's loose. You don't want to be too stiff and holding on too tight because that's just going to, as soon as the bike reacts, you're going to be too stiff. It's going to jolt and not really go too well. When riding in sand, you want to be in a loose position, bit of a attack position. I wouldn't say you don't want to be leaning forward. You don't want to put any weight on that front wheel. As soon as you put too much weight on that front wheel, it's going to start diving into the ruts and making you go in the wrong direction. Sort of feet, balls of your feet on the foot pegs. You don't need to be too far forward or back. So just knees nice and bent like this and leaning in a backward position. You don't need to go too far back. You don't need to be right back like this, like you're trying to do a high-speed run. But keep those knees, actually you've got the foot peg down here. You want your knees basically to stay above that, and then use the bend in your knees to get your body weight back, so you're sort of leaning back like this. And that's how I like to do it, roughly. You can modify a little bit, go a little bit further back, a little bit further forward. Try to avoid going too far forward, but work out what's comfortable for you. Arms are out sort of nice and straight. You don't want them down like this or too far up. You just want a nice high position, straight through to your clutch, through to your brake, just like that. Also, with your head, you want to be looking up and out because you want to see what's going on maybe 30, 40, 50 meters ahead of you. All right, so the second thing to think about is throttle control. In the sand, you want to be as smooth as possible. Smooth, steady throttle control. You don't want to be chopping the throttle. It's going to make you boggy in. You don't want that wheel spinning too much. So the smoother you can be on the throttle, and you want to be in about, my personal opinion is around about the two-thirds of the rev range. You don't need to be screaming through the sand, but you don't want to be down at the bottom of the power where it's going to bog down if you need to get out of trouble or anything like that. If you see a bog or a dip in something or a tree that you've got to get over, you want to be in that peak power range. So about 2/3 roughly. Obviously different for every bike. Motocross bikes are going to have a higher rev point. So the old DRZ, pretty low revs, so that'd be different. But yeah, I like to say in 2/3. All right, tip number 3. Sort of already spoke about this in tip number 2 with body positioning, but that is looking ahead, looking at exactly where you want to go. Because if you start looking down at the front wheel, you're going to miss the smoothest line. If you're looking out, you can pick those lines and probably follow the wheel ruts as well, especially if cars have been through there. You want to follow that wheel rut and just basically let the bike go where it wants to go, and you're just holding on and letting it fishtail through the sand, basically. Alrighty, number 4. All right, number 4 is probably one of the hardest ones to actually commit to. It's probably the hardest one mentally. So this is momentum is your friend, basically. As soon as you start going too slow, you're going to start bogging into the sand. You want to sit up on top of it, nice and light on the bike. So with the momentum comes committing to a line. Because if you are following someone else's wheel rut or a full drive's wheel rut in the soft sand like we're here today, if you don't commit to that one line and you're going to try and get out of that, you're going to be in a deep rut that could be 200-300 mil deep. Very difficult to get out of. So if you just commit to that, focus on that one line, look out further ahead, and then let the momentum take you through that. There's going to be some times where it dips in one way or dips in the other. That comes back to not being too stiff on the bike either. So if you're too stiff, that's just going to keep going in that direction. But if you're nice and light, free on the bike, let the bike move and your body can adjust to it. Right. Tip number 5, cornering in the sand. This is actually quite difficult to do in the sand. It's probably one of the hardest things. So what you want to do is make sure as you're going through the corner, you're not backing off too much, because then you're just going to lose all your momentum and dig in. Whereas if you keep that power on, you want to keep that back wheel spinning a little bit just to keep you going through that corner, and that'll actually help keep the bike more upright, and then just use your body to lean into it. All right, so that's 5 tips. Whilst doing this, I actually thought of a 6th one, which wasn't on my list, but braking. You really want to avoid braking as much as possible. Unless it's an emergency, you've got something that's right in front of you that you're going to smash into, like a tree or an old car or something that's been burnt out. Don't use your brakes. The sand itself is a natural anchor. It's basically, if you let off the throttle, just the compression of the motorbike is going to stop you really quickly. As soon as you touch that front brake, it's going to dive in. It's going to put all the weight of that motorbike forward, put the weight on the front wheel. It's going to bog in, and likely you're probably going to come off. So avoid that front brake. Back brake is a bit more fine to use. I'd still probably avoid it. Generally when I'm on the sand, I just don't even touch the brakes. If I need to stop, just back off the throttle, pull the clutch in, and come to a bit of a roll of a stop. Right, so to do a bit of a recap, what we've just been through, some of the common mistakes to avoid is sitting or leaning too far forward. You don't want to be doing this. You don't want all that weight on the front wheel, as that'll make the front dig into the sand too much. Choppy throttle. You don't want to be chopping the throttle. You want to try and maintain a smooth, steady throttle action in that sort of 2/3 of the rev range. Staring at the front wheel. You don't want to be staring down there. You want to make sure you're looking out as far as you can. Keep your eye on the horizon. Pick your path, pick where you want to go, and then commit to that line and follow it. Body positioning. Remember, try to keep that knee straight above the foot pegs, and then move your body around that, lean back a little bit. Can be a little bit more difficult depending on what luggage you got on the back. If you've got too much luggage, if you're leaning too far back and you hit a bump, the way the bike moves, it's going to come up, hit you in the ass, and that's going to send you forward. So depending on the luggage you've got, you guys got to work out a nice even balance between being too close and being practical to be able to ride along. This is all based around a light adventure bike, dual sport adventure bike, I suppose you call it. This is how most of my riding's done. So obviously a motocross bike might be a little bit different. A big hardcore 300 kilo adventure bike is going to be a little bit different again. I mean, if I was on one of them, I'd probably just avoid the sand altogether. They're pretty heavy. But yeah, let's test out all those techniques. I'll give you a bit of an example along here and show you how it's done. One of the last things is riding in the sand is very much a mental game. Obviously, if you can put yourself off riding in sand, you've put it up on a pinnacle, you don't really need to do that. Just get out there, have some practice in it, and you'll be fine. So let's do it. Here we go, let's do some ride in the sand. So as you can see here, it's a little bit all over the place, but you know, just sort of maintain that momentum. Not even going that fast, you don't need to go that fast. Just got to keep that throttle smooth. A little bit softer type of sand up here. But yeah, you can see I'm just staying in this wheel rut.
keeping that body weight back, and you just follow this rut. Pretty difficult to climb up out of it. I don't know if you can hear the revs in the background, but they're just staying pretty constant. At least that way I've got more power if I need it. Let's try on this run. See if the drone can pick me up again. See, I'm pretty much all over the place. I'm just, all this through here is all very cross-rutted, so it's a bit hard to actually pick a line. Just lean back, get in the right position, and hope for the best. Hi, drone. Alright, see how I just come to a complete stop then? I've just pulled the clutch in. I haven't used the brakes at all. Now, the most difficult type of corners is probably tight corners. Pretty much just need to keep your foot down on the ground and waddle your way through almost. And then get it started. Just keep that power on. Right, here we are, now we're on the moment. There we go, bike's all over the place, but that's alright. Keep that on through here. See, I ended up jumping out of a couple of those ruts there. That's where you got to keep your momentum. That's why you don't really need to be flying across it. See, once again, out of the rut. Just find another one to jump back into. Alright, we'll come past the drone again. There we go. And then once again, no brakes to stop. So riding in the sand does take a lot more energy than just riding along a flat road, obviously. You've got to keep that energy up. As soon as you start getting tired, you start making mistakes, and this is very soft. Getting started uphill is not easy. Here we go. Alright, follow me along, drone. And you want to avoid sitting down as much as possible. Obviously when you're going slow you need a waddle, but like cruising through here, I'm just in second gear. No need to go too fast. And then smooth throttle. You don't need to be doing that. You will find if you are going slower though, it's a little bit more all over the place, but also holding on with your knees as much as you can as well will take a bit of weight off your hands. Obviously riding through this sand, you've got to work your arm muscles a fair bit because the bike's all over the place. So if you can take any of that pressure off. Well, there you have it, guys. That's riding in the sand 101 from a unprofessional rider, not a coach, but just enjoy riding, and that's my take on it. Hope you can pick up some of these tips out of it and get out there and enjoy some of these sandy tracks and be maybe a little bit more confident. And generally on this sandy stuff, when you do come off, it doesn't hurt as much. I mean, you've got small little rocks in it and stuff like that, but yeah, it doesn't really hurt too bad, so you can get away with it a little bit more. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my take on riding a dirt bike in the sand. Hopefully you can pick up some tips and tricks out of that and have a bit more confidence riding in the sand. Just remember, hardest thing to get past is the mental side of it. Once you get past that, just give it a go and get some practice and get better and better. So if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.
See you then.